Welcome back, everyone. This is the first episode in the Tried and True EDC Auto Series. Today, I have for you the Ghostbusters edition of the Combat Troodon. Let's take a look at some measurements quickly. Overall length, well, let's include the glass breaker for the sake of this. So we're looking about slightly under 9¼ inches. The cutting edge is coming in about 3½ inches. And the handle is right about 5 1/8 of an inch. The width, the width, it's about 1 1/8 inches, not including the deployment slide. And the thickness is about 1/2 inch. Weight is coming in about 5 1/4 ounces. And let's go ahead and take a shot of that in the pocket. All right, so it's essentially a deep carry pocket clip, but if it has a glass breaker on it, it will show. You can't really remove the glass breaker without the pocket clip also coming loose, so I'm sure you can modify it some way if it's not a feature you want. You'll notice on the pocket clip, as it slides through, it stops about right there, and then you have to get over this little hump before you can fully get the knife in to your pocket. So again, stops right there, and just push it right through. Does not take up much real estate at all in your pocket. But before I forget, just, automatics in most places well, that's not true. Automatics, at least to my knowledge, in California and New York, are illegal to carry if it's over 2 inches. This is what I recall reading, but don't take my word for it, and make sure you understand your laws within your jurisdiction if you plan on carrying an out the front automatic. All right, let's talk about the blade. We got a Dagger edge, plain edge, so no serrations. And in the middle is I refer to these as blood grooves. I don't know if that's the right term, but that's what I'm calling it. They've done a great job designing this. All the green that you see is a portrayal of slime from, I would assume, Slimer from Ghostbusters. My experience with Microtech's edge is typically very sharp. Microtech does a great job getting you a knife that's out of the box, ready to work, ready to be used. Let's talk about the handle. Very similar designs. It's got slime all over the handle, both sides. It's got a red deployment button. Well, it's not really a button, it's a slide. You've got your glass breaker, also in red. I've always wanted to test one of these. I guess I just need to find a piece of glass that I can break. Let's see, here's the pocket clip. Ecto 1, which I believe was the name of the vehicle that the Ghostbusters rode in. And I'm assuming that's Marfion's signature. This is reversible, so it's fully ambidextrous. My experience with removing the glass breaker or loosening the glass breaker at minimum to be able to swivel the clip, but you're probably gonna have to take off the glass breaker completely. As I used in an Allen wrench, but preferably if you have one that's not metal, you can slide it through and just twist it, pop it open, swap the clip to this side, lock it back up. And the Combat Troodon does use proprietary hardware, at least most of the ones I recall seeing. So to be able to disassemble this, you do need a certain tool to be able to do so. Just for comparison, there's other models that don't use proprietary hardware. For instance, this is the Scarab 2. It's got very similar features, actually similar in size. It's a little bit thicker right here. The slide is also thicker, which is nice. You get a little more traction, and it's a lot easier to retract with the same method of opening than it is the Combat Troodon. Yeah, like for instance, I can't even retract it right now. It's every so often I'm able to do it, but it's, I don't know if it's the design, the spring difference, but yeah. Maybe if one of you are more versed in the mechanics of Microtech OTFs, you can drop a comment and let our viewers know. So this one is discontinued, I believe. They put this out, I got this about 3 to 4 months ago. It was earlier this year or late last year. And they dropped it across multiple online retailers. And the price point for this ranged from $650 to $750. So that's really depending on the retailer. I felt that $650 was probably the minimum advertising price. But then some retailers knew how exclusive this was and went and marked it up. Which is, you know, it's a business. So it is what it is. Yeah. What are my final thoughts? This is a really cool piece, but if you're just looking for a work knife that's an automatic out the front, there are plenty of competitive options. I do like Microtech out the front knives. They do make quality knives. The handle is aluminum, but it's very sturdy, and I don't anticipate this breaking anytime soon, even if I use it often and whatnot. One thing about Microtechs that's common is when the blade is out, there is a little bit of blade play, right? That's always been a thing about Microtech out the fronts. I don't think currently there's any Microtech out the fronts that doesn't have a bit of blade play. I've read they are coming out with a new model that has eliminated the blade play. So that'll be interesting to see. Excited for that. I personally don't think this is really going to affect performance. It's very minimal. You know, again, if you're watching this, drop your comments. Let me know how you feel about blade play in an automatic out the front. I can understand if this was a manual. I think the perception of blade play is a little different versus a OTF. But, you know, personally, I haven't experienced any issues. But if you have, I would love to hear your comments. And I'm sure the viewers would appreciate that as well. But again, this is much more of a collection piece than a user. I wouldn't hesitate to use this, but for one, I can't legally carry this as I'm from California, but you know, I can own it, just can't carry it in public. Anywho, all right, well, appreciate you tuning in. Let me know how you feel about the review, what your comments are and thoughts about the Combat Troodon. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you want to get notified for the next video. Just ensure that you hit that bell icon so that way you actually do get notified. All right. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. Continue to make great choices and stay frosty.